Come, let me get you some.
Hello,
Yo, yo,
everyone.
yo, yo, what's going on? We got Mountain Sabers in the house, Lord
What's
Barris.
up?
Welcome to Saber Talk Sunday.
Yes, sir.
Mundo in the house. Everybody's in the house. We're going to have lots of fun today.
Yep. We
Tonight.
will.
Tonight is your night, bro. Tonight is your night, bro.
It's been a while, man.
And
I'm glad to be
then,
back on, man. I've been super busy,
right
bro.
now, kids, don't do this at home. I'm a professional. Drink
yeah,
responsibly.
it's gotta definitely.
Titans in the house. NN's in the house. Got Carpenters in the house. Welcome, guys. Charlie, have a good workout, buddy. Charlie's going to be working out in the background. He's going to be listening and all that good stuff. So tonight's topic, and I told you guys earlier about the topic about swapping parts from different companies and just doing mods and everything like that. I think that's going to be such a fun night tonight, talking about this stuff. And we'll see if Jeremy from Solos is going to pop up in the chat. We've been having some difficulties of having him get on the chat. So I talked to Anthony today and see if we can fix it. And hopefully he can get in on the chat tonight. That'd be kind of cool, man. And we'll have a lot of fun. So anyway, um, I know James, you were mentioning you're super busy, and what I've
Man,
seen some of the
it's been
projects you've
crazy.
been posting. Dude, they look fantastic.
And that's not even the half of it. Now I've got client ones that I want to show too. So it's gonna be really cool, man. I got some fun stuff coming up. I always like to do the
Oh, I
videos,
bet.
to show, what's going on, and people can understand
Hmm.
it and then go back if they want to see it or something or whatnot. But that's why I like doing the
That's
videos. It's
I
fun.
like that. I really like that because coming from a customer standpoint, if I may, I mean, coming from a customer standpoint, you would go back and you see everything that you're doing, but not only with the operation, but piece by piece of the attention of detail that you're doing with the project, how it's coming along step by step, right? And as a customer, uh would love to see at what point you're at during the project's process. uh and
Stages of
and,
the
and
process, yeah.
yeah, so
I
I
do
think it
that. I do that.
I I believe it puts more emphasis and more trust to the customer in that respect, right?
Well, it's their lightsaber, right?
Yeah, exactly. But that's
They need
exactly
they
what
need
I'm
to have it
saying.
done the way they want it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're portraying that. So that's what
Mhm.
I'm getting it is that you're portraying exactly what they're wanting, and you're showing them step by step of what you're doing to achieve the final process, and allow them to see that process and know that when they get it, it's not just something they've been waiting for and not seeing the behind the scenes sort of stuff, you know?
Right,
I mean, of
right,
course, they're not going
exactly.
to see everything. They're not going to see everything, but at the same time, at the same time, they're not going to see everything. However, that what you have to do to achieve what they're asking you to do, and
Yeah,
that
exactly.
entails and that entails maybe again, like for tonight's topic, modifying stuff, printing stuff, maybe using different parts from let's say you use a part from TCSS, and then you go and you use CC Sabers pin setup with LEDs, right?
Yeah,
So
sure.
you know everything goes when and you're trying to create something unique that the customer wants, but ultimately also other people are trying to create unique pieces doing the same thing, and that's what I want to get to into the discussion tonight, because sometimes modifying things may not necessarily mean cutting things, but adding things, whether it be agreeably.
Example. Got a
Yeah.
perfect
With
example. My proto saber that I just got done doing. So that's a perfect example on this subject. What different parts to use, and
mm-hmm.
and actually utilizing the products that you bought. Like the flash gun. I used the lens and I used every part of that in the build so that it can stay you know subject to real life. Like I didn't take anything away. I used every bit of except for some wire that was damaged, but I replaced
Yeah.
that. But you go check it out in the video. But it's that's a perfect subject. It's like so many different parts, and I used printer bar guides. They have this little spiral bar. I used that for a crystal
Right.
chamber, and I put bolts together. So, yeah, exactly
Mm-hmm.
what you're saying. The parts from anywhere can be anything.
My gosh, what is going on here? Jeez.
I
There
don't
we go.
know. It looks all right.
Okay.
Looks good.
Yeah. Well, Mo had. Okay. Mo at the Sabers shop. That's an okay. Oh, okay. I was trying to. For some reason, I don't know why. Does Mo's
I'm seeing
comment
the
show up on
comments.
there?
I'm seeing them. Yep.
Show on stage. Let's see. For some reason, Mo's thing is not showing on the stage.
Hmm.
Uh, hmm.
I just saw it. I saw it pop up when you clicked on his thing. So he was coming up.
Okay.
Try it again. See if. Well, now you're gone. Maybe he's got an issue.
I don't
It could be
know.
the internet.
Well, I mean, depending on where he is, I mean, a lot of places got a lot of bad weather over the last couple of days, especially today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll be back.
Definitely. I actually,
we love this part.
yeah. Speaking of
we could
parts,
just talk.
and speaking of parts and adding on, I saw a video that Shameen did. I'm not sure if you know who I'm talking about.
Oh,
You know,
I do.
yeah, he created a Graflex ASP based off of some different Saber Forge.
Didn't he just post that tonight?
Yeah, he posted it on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Sorry, guys.
It looks like
That's weird.
it sort of looks like the Derelict from like the old Republic video game, but more or less
Uh-huh.
Graflexy. It looks really
Man,
amazing.
it looks awesome. It really does look good. I checked it out. It looks real. I love Shamim. He's really great, man. He's an awesome dude.
Right? I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Can you guys hear me right now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, I don't know. Something's going screwy with my damn phone right now. It's weird. Because every time I'm trying to show stuff on stage, it's just like,
There
oh
you
my
go.
gosh.
I see it.
Right?
Yep, it works.
Let's see here.
Oh, but he's getting cut off. So maybe you got switched to Wi-Fi.
Hmm.
Yeah, he got cut off. So as you were saying.
But yeah, I saw the video, and he used different parts from one replicas, from Roman props and whatnot, and it looked really good. He used
really does.
1 year from the custom saber shop. It was incredible.
Yeah, he's got.
Oh, I know.
And well, one of the originals, man.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's the old school, man. It's very cool, man. Very cool. I'm glad he's back in action too.
Oh, me too, man. He's the one that got that was actually helped me get my friend's voice on Roy Boy. So
yes,
I sent him my friend's voice and he put it. I believe it was the Orca stuff, and I was able to use that and then set everything in motion right there. So, for Shamim to help me, man, it was just huge. And Shamim, if you're watching, man, thank you so much, man. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, me personally, I think that when it comes to different builds, when it comes to customizing your saber and to make it look like more different, I think it looks amazing. Me personally, I'm right now in the phase of collecting character hilts, so I'm not so much as modifying them in any other way. I mean, maybe adding cover tech wheels, like for example, for my X-Tech Bad Batch Ventress hilt, I'm adding a cover tech wheel at the bottom for belt support.
Yeah,
But other than that,
it's great. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, that's all part of it. I mean, you can add your own accents and your own things to it, Greeblies, whatever you want, and make it your own. Nobody says you couldn't. It's really it's all part of the process. It's part of how you feel about your hilts. I mean, if you want to leave a cannon and sitting on a shelf in the glass and just leave it there until the day that you can't even pick it up, I mean, that's fine. But for me, no way, man. I'm gonna modify all the ones that I get, and I have, so
right.
I'm happy.
Well, see, some people don't believe that just simple Greeblies are modifications.
Yeah.
That they have this misconception that Greeblies are not modifications, and it really is. They really are. I mean, yeah, you're gonna put them on there.
They're an addition, yeah. They're an addition, and they are a modification.
Yeah, whether
sure.
they be simple or intricate, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no.
So
metal, plastic, whatever it may be. I printed several plastic Greeblies for people who just want those parts, and there's nothing wrong with it, and weathered, they look great. I mean, you can see my channel. I've done a whole bunch of weathered stuff, and it looks great. PLA,
Another saber I saw today was Sacktown Steve. He took his Ventress X Tech, and he basically it looks very steampunkish. Not steampunkish, or just much more wired. I don't know what the term would be, but it looks
probably
really good.
I don't know. I have to see that. I have to go check that out again. I grazed by it today, but I saw Shamim's, and that caught my eye. I like that background. He's got the ocean background. That's soothing,
right?
When you see that. That's cool. I like it.
You mean like
that epoch was huge, man?
Oh,
the
epoch
was huge.
I did that as a kid for art therapy.
Oh, that painting. Yeah. I was going to say the background that Shamin has when he
I thought you were talking about
the ocean thing. No, but that's a cool picture, bro. You did that? That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's amazing.
I was a kid when I did it, so yeah.
That's great. That's awesome that you saved that. I have a few of those, yeah.
Very cool. But some of the modifying sabers to make them, whether they look cyberpunk or medieval look, they look really great.
Oh yeah, I think my first one that I ever built out of tubing kind of looks like that. My eternal hilt. That thing is just
even for one. Even for chassis too, man. A lot of people are 3D printing the chassis. If you're not using stuff from the custom saber shop, but also in terms of when you 3D print stuff and you're modifying that chassis, putting on the Greeblies, you're modifying the chassis of putting brass on there. You're using the LEDs for accent lighting and stuff like that. So yeah, man, you're modifying the chassis as well to fit the uniqueness of the hilts as well, outside and inside, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
I agree. Yeah. Oh yeah.
No,
I mean, it's really chassis. Like I said, depends on who uses them and what, but 99% of the time they're in the hilt. You know what I mean? They're just bouncing around in there, not being used unless they're on a shelf or separated. And like I said, in a glass case, being shown both hilt and chassis, whatever it may be. But most of the time it's in the hilt. So I always like to think along those lines. That remember, it's still in the hilt. It's a showpiece, but you have to make it strong. You got to make it durable. You have to be able to show the fine details without it getting destroyed in there. You know what I mean? So that's also important.
That's definitely important.
The complexity of
it. And they're getting so damn complex now these days. I mean, look at the Michael Bear, man. Oh my god.
It's actually not the those things that are getting complex. It's the want that is getting complex. A lot of people want different things. Like I want a ring where the speaker is. Well, I don't know. I mean, we could try it, but I never seen if I can get a ring on top of the speaker which I've attempted to do, and it's not hard. It's just, you know, a lot of planning with a
Yeah.
small little chassis, but you can do it. But the want is I think creating all of these, you know, things, you know,
Right.
new ideas, new chassis, crystal chambers, you know, the whole nine
Hmm.
yards.
I would say, would you say that, I'm not trying to deviate and go into anything critical, but would you say the incoming tariffs that were recently announced, do you think that will impact the ways and means of getting supplies and
Oh yeah, of course. I mean,
It
that's the thing.
probably will. It all
Because
depends. You know, these things can go away next week. They could stay on for a month. They could stay on for a year. A lot of people are contributing, you know, to maintain their credibility and the aspect of the you know, the price and all that stuff, so they can continue with business, because that's very hard for a business person. You know, I mean, to all of a sudden, you know, let's just say raise a candy bar from 50 cents to $1, and now that person has to pay the extra buck, you know. So it's really, I don't know if so far it hasn't shut anything down as far as getting things, but I don't know what the future will bring. I don't know.
well, it certainly is going to raise prices. I mean, that's a given with coming into stuff like this.
Mm,
Because, as a business person, and you know, I'm a business major, so I kind of understand what businesses
yeah,
have to do in order to keep, running the lights, keep running, product, keep running
yeah,
this and
and
that.
it's
And
not
if,
cheap.
and if and
It's
for
definitely not
somebody
cheap.
who's still, it's a little, I'm not saying it's a little easier, but it's a little less difficult when you're by yourself than when you have to pay
Hmm.
like employees
Oh, sure.
let's say you've got a workforce of, let's say, 10 or 12 people that you got to pay for their services that you're doing, whereas when you're by yourself it's a little easier to kind of, you don't have to pay nobody but yourself. So, and you're utilizing the monies to restock what you have so that you continue to work and continue to produce products, by hand. Whereas you got a
Yep.
bigger company that has a staff maybe of 10, 20, 30 people doing
Hmm.
something.
Well, they may get hit the hardest, and I feel that, you know, it's possible that, you know, the smaller guys like myself, you know, I don't claim to be a big person, but I do have a pretty good following, and I got a lot of jobs so far. So, and I do what I say I'm going to do. So
Mhm,
I think that really helps in the aspect of that. As far as buying parts and all that stuff, I haven't felt anything yet that's hindering me.
mhm.
As a matter of fact, there's a lot of sales going on for some of the older stuff. You might want to check that out. But you know, it's not like, you know, I'm a single person, so I can do a lot of things here. You know, I don't have a crew. I do everything myself, and I do it all day long, every single day. Even today, I was working today
Mhm.
because I want to get the stuff finished, done, make sure it's the way they want it. If I have problems, I have time to test. So there's a lot of things that, I've had a couple of, bad products, that were delivered, and I was pretty upset about it, and I had to change it, and I had to restock, rebuy from different companies, and it becomes a little bit more frustrating than people realize. Like you said, behind the scenes, you know what I mean? It's something that nobody really sees or
Mhm.
hears about, but we're all human too, so we
Yeah,
have to be able to have that, ability to get these parts and get the job done. So, uh,
yes.
right. And even if that means, utilizing different companies for
sacrifice too,
different
by the way.
parts.
Sorry, but sacrifice. I
Mhm,
sacrifice a lot more than, what I would expect anybody to, go through themselves, because I feel that it's important to me that they get what they want, they get what they deserve. It's still a free market, I mean, we still do all kinds of things here,
right.
whether it be in the States or elsewhere. So, it's
Mhm.
I believe that everybody has their individuality, and whoever gets, whoever wants to do those things, do them. Be a part of the community and share it, and
Right.
you know and stay busy. As a matter of fact, stay busy. You know.
Absolutely, and that and believe me, man, you portray so much positive stuff too, and such great work. Um,
I'm on the
and
forums a lot
again,
too. I like to help out, with the configs and stuff. Everybody, when they first come in, they always have problems with configs. Well, guess what? I was there too. I was there 5 years ago. I didn't know crap about Profi. You know what I mean? I really didn't know anything. I mean, I understand the electronics. I've been in the field for many, many years, but that particular side of it, I never really endeavored until, about 5 years ago, which is just, my anniversary basically. So,
and
yeah.
see,
So,
to this day,
I understand the
I haven't
frustration
even
of it.
come close to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I
Well,
said, like I showed you with the black chassis, and that was the
yeah.
1.5 Profi that I've got there. I have not even
Mhm.
come close to even attempting a Profi yet. I like I said, I've attempted, I've attempted, the CFX several times. I've
Oh, yeah.
attempted the Golden Harvest a couple of times. I just bought a Golden Harvest 4, so I'm super excited. Hey, Chet, what's up, dude? I'm super excited to wire that up, when I get a chance to and do that. I still have an Igniter 3 that I have not touched. And I don't know if I really want to touch it
Mm.
because it's the last one. It's the last one that I bought before they went out of business. So it's like, do
Oh,
I really
wow.
want to touch my Igniter 3? And
Oh,
I'm all
wow.
like, Mo, what's
Hey,
up,
Chet.
Mo?
Hey, what's up, man? What's up? Say, Scott, I know I saw you, man. I appreciate it, man. I'm reading the comments, but I didn't have a chance to reply. But yeah, man, I'll talk to you soon, brother, about those parts. And this is great, man. Yeah,
So,
I'm looking
and
at it.
you can utilize, I'm so super interested, but I'm like I'm dreading whether to just leave the board alone or just wire it up and do it that way, because
The
I know that
1.5.
no, it's an Igniter 3.
Oh, igniter 3. Oh, wow, that's a board. Yeah, run it. What are you gonna do? Just
Yeah,
gonna sit in the drawer?
you
Run
think
it,
so?
man. Hook it up. Yeah,
Hook it up. All
yeah.
right,
Hook it up.
I'll
Yeah.
hook it up.
Hey,
And
I have
and
numerous.
Meg Tooth even sent me some of those SMD LEDs. So
Oh
I
yeah.
want to put some of those SMD LEDs on it. He's got a
You should.
wonderful video on those and stuff like that.
Yep.
So I was like, I got to utilize that video and then wire it up to that kind of way that
Oh
he
yeah.
did it. So I was like, man,
He's got
and
some good stuff.
oh, he does, man. So if anybody still watches his content on Sabers, uh, do it. Watch all you can, man, and learn from him because he's got some great stuff. He's doing pretty good with the SpaceX stuff too.
SpaceX. Yes, he is.
Yeah, I
I
don't know if
joined it, man. I
anybody
like it.
watches him. He's I was all like, man, he's gonna be the astronaut and space station and rockets, all that. He's gonna be our
You
next
know, yep. All people started out that way, man.
spaceman.
All these big guys, all these big YouTubers, all this stuff, they started out just like he's doing, man, doing little stuff at a time, and then all of a sudden, bam, 2.5 million people, and then you're on your way,
Right?
So I don't count anybody out, man, ever. This is how you do it. If you're dedicated enough and you want to venture into a different, avenue, do it. Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
That's what I had to do. I did it. I ventured into a completely different realm, even though I loved Star Wars as a kid, but I never thought I would be doing it up to this caliber, and
Yeah.
here I am. So never give up.
Yeah, nobody ever expects to
Never
go
give
as
up.
far as they go.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Now, here's the thing. Have you ever had to modify threads on a Saber, James? Whenever let's
Um,
let's say
Yeah, actually, I had to. I'm not the depth of the threads or the caliber of the threads, but actually the clarity of it, and also clocking, because the clocking
Hmm.
is sometimes done by with the shims and stuff like that. But shims are great, but they can pop off, and if you're taking a saber apart or doing something, so I wind up trying to clock them first if it's possible.
Yeah.
Do some sanding edges and stuff like that. Actually, I actually had to repair one of the mom hilts. That my one of my clients had. He
Hmm.
tried to untwist it and twist it back, and then it fused. I mean, the aluminum just
Mm.
totally fused together. So,
Oh
so
no.
what I had, yeah, that was bad. I didn't know what was going to happen, if I was going to be able to get it apart. So I got it apart. Took a long time, a lot of machine oil, and a lot of ingenuity to grab it and bring it back and forth and do all of that. So
Hmm.
but I finally got it. I got it off. I cleared the threads, and I worked it back and forth, worked it back and forth, worked it back and forth, sanded it. You have special sanding pads for the threads and stuff like that. So I use a little bit of that to clean it. Mostly a
Hmm.
lot of machine oil and threading it, because there was no chunks or anything. So it's safe enough to thread it. No chips or anything. It just seemed to be just on the verge of a cross thread, but not really. So, but all better now. And
Right. See,
he's happy,
what was it?
which is
Was it?
important.
Was it? It was either, what was it? It was Ultra Sabers, right? That had the threading that you could use TCSS parts and
Oh yeah.
um
Mhm.
and
Yeah, I think
Ultra
it
Sabers
was
parts to
Ultra Sabers
to
was
work
one of the
together.
first. Ultra Sabers was one of the first lightsaber companies to use the custom saber shop to integrate different parts with. And when LGT came along and TXQ, they sort of did their own thing with VHS and other module parts, especially when it came to building your own sabers. Like, for example,
Right.
uh, uh, dang, I'm blanking on his name, but Ripper Blades,
Oh yeah.
he has his own lightsaber store,
Gary,
BYO, simple drop ship. But
yeah,
he,
Gary.
yeah, Gary, he uses, you can build your own lightsaber off with it. And Saber Forge, they have their own thing with their own custom parts.
Right.
And recently, they are trying to move from the Golden Harvest cores that they did initially when they packed it in there. They're trying to move it over to LGT cores. To quote Philip Isherwood, last year when he was, I believe he told me he was drunk off of Mardi Gras. One hole to rule them all. Please do not. Oh God, I should not have said that. But what I like is that, but basically right now they're doing a big Saberforge is trying to get rid of all their old like um, two hole stock, and they launched a new like saber like they launched a new panel where you can combine just put together ASP parts, which is really nice.
Yeah, it's great. It's awesome that you can, mix and match. I think that's what it's all about too. You need choices. People need choices. That's it. That's the bottom line. You really,
That's
without choices,
yeah, that's what makes the world go.
you know, it's nice
Choices
to
is
have
what makes the world
selection.
go round.
Oh yeah, yeah. And choices in free
Well,
market, I think it's really helping a lot, because you can go to TSS and buy those parts there. In fact, I was hoping they would restock some things, because I would like to get some parts from them that I really love. Some of the compatibility
hmm.
parts for, let's say, the mag lights and stuff. That's one of my favorite things. I to build the mag lights, so
Yeah.
I have chassis for them
Right.
and everything. But I like their emitter sections, and I like their pommel sections, and I think they're great, and they fit all my 3D printed stuff. So hopefully they'll restock that stuff. If they don't, I'm back on the lathe investigating if I can actually make it myself, and cut the threads and do all that stuff, and that's what I'm going to do.
Oh,
You
dude,
know,
I believe you can. I believe you
yeah.
can,
I
man.
mean, I've had lathes before, but it's been like 20 years, and I finally bought that other one that I told you, and it serves its purpose, and it's amazing. By the way, I love it. I had so much fun.
Yeah. right now I've got
Oh yeah, and
the page right now on I have a Saber 4 page lined up where I want to build something similar to what they did with their Emerald Knight lineup. Corn Horn speeder bike, their take on it. The thing is, I just gotta save up some money to do it, but yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, that's
well,
really
see, and
cool.
you. What I really also like is that you got, people like Jeremy from Solos, right? That they've got some parts from different places as well, and or they're creating their own parts and to make unique sabers, right?
Yeah,
And
which is great. I love that. That's
so
my favorite part.
yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, I love the uniqueness, and Jeremy, God bless him, dude. I mean, just he's coming out with some fantastic stuff. And you too, James. I mean, everybody's
We
just
got
coming
great
out with
design
some
skills.
fantastic stuff right
The
now.
design skills is what everybody is expecting from him and myself and things like that. So it all depends on how far you want to go. How intricate do you want everything? So it's skill. It's a skill. It's part of the job. So
Hmm.
definitely, props to him, man. It's amazing.
Right? And he is by himself too. And
Yeah,
how the amount of sabers that he puts out is just
yeah.
mind-boggling for him having a family, for him having, to do this day in and day out as well.
It's a livelihood though. So
And
you have to be on it
you
12
know,
hours a day. Who knows? It's a long day. I spend a lot of time. Like I
yeah,
said, I worked all week plus today. That's like 12
yeah,
hours,
exactly.
every day. I get up early, 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, and I
Oh,
sit in
damn.
front of that computer and I design. Oh yeah, yeah. It's no joke.
See,
I take this
that's
really
that's one of the
seriously,
things.
I do.
That's one of the things I would love to do is to design some stuff and as a matter of fact, man, I've got so much crap in my head that I want out of here and see in the real world. It's
Oh
unreal,
sure.
but I don't know how to do any of that stuff. I can't draw for crap. I can't. I don't know how to use any of these design programs, but I'm willing to learn a little bit and here and there and get myself to the point where eventually I can, or hook up with somebody who can do it and
Yeah.
get it out there. One of the things that I love also, if anybody, well, I know a lot of people are watching John, the collector's outpost. He made his own saber, right?
Yeah, getting
He's
that.
made two sabers.
Yeah, getting that's yeah. John Santos, that guy is incredible, and
Oh my
some of
God.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing
And
the same thing too. I
and
got the aluminum for it, so I'm gonna make mine on the lathe, and I'm gonna do. I got a wood turner also, so I'm gonna do the handle on that. So I think I'm gonna start getting into my Mountain Saber this summer. I think I'm
yeah,
gonna do it. I'm gonna start getting on it.
You should make it Lord of the Rings dwarf theme because Misty Mountain and whatnot.
Misty Mountain. Oh yeah, it's been. Let me tell you about Misty Mountain up here, man. Woo, we've had some weather. It's been rolling fog.
Rooster in the house.
I try to get out there and take videos, but it's so hard with work. I want to go there and swing a lightsaber around. I did one, but when it snowed, that was fun.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm horrible at saber design as well, but tried submitting things to. Yeah.
It's
Well,
it's
it's hit or miss when it comes to
yeah,
saber designs, and I
sure.
mean, obviously, when it comes to if you want to make your own scrap tech, that's fine, but you can't But
I actually do.
Yeah, yeah, Mundo does, of course.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I want to get. In order for me to further my passion, in order for me to further, my skill sets, I want to do all of that stuff, man. I want to be on the level with you guys, and I'm not by no means near that, but eventually I will be, right?
it's all time.
And I'm not rushing myself or anything, but my admiration for you, James, and for everybody who can do all of these, programs and create and everything. I long for that, and it's not that, I'm jealous of anybody or anything, because eventually I'm going to get to that point.
Yeah,
But
sure.
my admiration for you guys is the fact that you can create and put those things out there,
Things to
in
paper and
such an
then
amount
them
of
to
time.
design.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I
And
have been
fast. Yeah, I
struggling with
mean,
being able to
it's fast.
go ahead.
I mean, they go fast. Like I'll explain to you why I think it's fast as I think it is that because everything is uniform, everything is the way it should be, all the parts fit, everything is right, all it goes is boom, 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 like a puzzle. So that's how fast things can go when everything is right. When things aren't right, like bad parts or a PCB that went bad, or you got a pin that doesn't pin no more, something like that. Now that
Mm-hmm.
takes up your time. So now you have to go back, spend an hour on that. So it's all time, no matter what you do, design, installations, sound fonts, all time. You know,
Time is the
how
common
much time you want to
denominator,
spend?
basically.
Yeah, how much
Yeah.
time you want to spend to learn on it? You can, but you have to actually put away, like if you let's say you want to dedicate it, put a few hours away to learning the software. Pick and choose whichever one you want. There's a million of them. You know,
Well,
I
see,
think
we'll
everybody's
be
using
empty
Fusion right
nesters.
now. Huh?
We'll be empty nesters this year, right? So no kids will be
Mm.
around to take up my time,
Oh,
and so no kids will be around to take up my time when it's just a wife and I.
yeah,
So
I
I
mean, you
think
could
in
drop
that
it on a
time,
laptop. You could drop you can even go online. They have free software online. You can just try a little something just to see if you like the idea, and I
hmm
still use those also. I mean, I use Fusion too, but I use other programs. I have other CAD programs that I like better, I think, for simple and easy stuff, instead of having to I don't know, like you get dizzy after a while with some of that stuff. So I like simplicity. I think it functions well, and I could do
simplicity,
whatever, yeah,
simplicity is golden.
yeah. Well, it seems to work because a lot of my stuff, a lot of people are now, dueling with these things. They're hitting them hard.
Yeah.
And I don't like
hmm
these I don't like these little thin chassis that the battery, and then it splits in half, and then you're like, well, what am I do now? So I tend to go on the thicker side, when I know somebody's going to be hitting these things,
hmm
um,
Mhm.
and luckily, luckily the hilt accepts that, because you can't really do too much in a 1 inch hole, 1 inch hilt. And I think I got your joke on that one, Barris. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? One hole for all, right? Yeah. So that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's I'm glad for the larger hilts still, because there's a lot more that you can do with them, chassis wise
right,
and
exactly.
things like that. You know.
And I feel more comfortable with the larger hilts. I guess because I mean I've got big hands, but sometimes squeezing.
So do I.
Let
My
me
hands are.
see. Let me see if I can grab the. This is the PVC pipe, right?
Oh
Lightsaber that I
yeah,
got right here.
yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
The I haven't even finished it. It doesn't even have the chassis or anything in it like that.
Right.
But um,
Sure.
just holding this, my whole hand can go around this. I kind of
Yeah.
like, I like the fact that it's not too thin,
Wide.
because
Yeah.
I've grabbed some hilts where my whole hand will go all the way around, and my thumb will be right here on my middle finger. Like,
Sure.
damn,
Sure.
that is small. That is thin.
Very small.
You know, I want something I can just grip and not wrap my whole hand around completely. It's
Well,
like
they should be comfortable.
That's
They
why.
should be
That's why.
comfortable
yeah,
around.
That's why I'm still a fan of the old Master Replicas Force FX
Sure.
hilts, because even though they were thick for their time and are
Yeah.
considered thick, they still feel real.
Great.
hmm
Yeah, I agree.
yeah,
I
like the
agree.
Vader I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the Vader I've been working on for a long time, but I'm taking my time on that one because I do know that the Profi 1.5 is going to go in that one. So
Oh wow,
that
man.
one.
Wow, that's cool. Though. That's cool.
Well, it's nostalgic, right? Because you have
Dude,
an
I can't
old.
even dare to touch my. I can't dare to touch my old boards now, man. I got those from I got them from Chet, man, and I am holding on. I'm not putting any solder on them whatsoever. I don't know why. I just it's history to me, so I just like them in a case, you know. 3.9s, probably 3.9s are kicking ass, so that's fine, man. They're working good.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I eventually I'm going to get a Parfait 3.9. I believe one of my buddies in San Antonio had picked up a 2 point what is it, a 2.2 Profi?
2.2.
Okay. So he picked up a 2.2 for me up in San Antonio.
Great boards.
And so he's holding onto that for me. And that one I'll be wiring up, way down the road too, after I finish a bunch of other ones.
I think I'm gonna drop
I
a CFX in my build, my actual Mountain Sabers build, because I have not really played around with CFX that much, because a lot of clients, they seem to want the Profi board for, I guess functionality and things, but CFX is a lot of function. So
Well, functionality, but also because of how open source it is, and because of and also because of FET 263's blade style library, which, let's be honest, is plethora, like so much, especially.
Yeah,
Oh,
the website is spectacular now. He's got a lot of things for the user now, because a lot of people didn't know how to do it. So now it's pretty much all self-explanatory on there now. I mean, everything is laid out right in front of you on that website. So yeah, definitely agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
definitely. But CFX, like I said, man, it's a nice flow. It flows well. All the blade styles. I like the graphics. So I have experience in that, so I'm going to do some of that and have a little bit of fun. GHV4
now,
also
I wonder,
is a great board now.
Oh yeah,
Great board.
Rich in the house. Yeah, it is Rich. As a matter of fact, Rich showed me a few things on AliExpress, man, and AliExpress has got some boards on there that, my God, I could pick up a couple of boards.
I went there today.
Really?
Yeah.
So yeah.
On what store on
Ali?
No, but which one? Because there are different stores.
US.
Yeah, there's so many on there.
Oh,
my
store.
God.
You mean the store? Oh, I don't know. It's the only one that really popped up. So I'm sorry. I don't remember the. I don't remember.
Because even though they all mostly come from the same warehouse, it's all different companies that do with it.
Right. Yeah. Sure. Definitely.
And you know what? What
as
really?
Far as I saw, I was. Huh?
What really kind of gets me though sometimes is like you have the different stores, but they have the different prices, right?
Yeah.
And I guess you have to do your due diligence on what you're actually looking at, because
what you're doing.
Like I saw,
you're real screwed. You're gonna get the wrong product. You end up writing a terrible review, and it's a big mess. You have to just do your due diligence, and there is a language barrier, because keep in mind these are whoever's on the other side of the chat box from. English is probably their second language, so it's all about due diligence.
Well, see, because like I seen, the Sailor SE hilt, right? The from whatever the show is, the new Saber.
You said Stranger SE?
No, not the Acolytes. The other one, the one that just came out recently with the Nanab or whatever his name is. The pirate dude.
Yeah, the skeleton crew.
Skeleton crew. There you go. The skeleton crew. Yeah. Right. Yeah, so I saw that hilt. I saw one price on it for 77 something. I saw another price on it for 141, and then I saw another price on it for like 270 something. Like, Jesus Christ, what is the actual price of that hilt?
Well, I would like to also keep in mind that when they set prices like that, sometimes sometimes there's like a wrong keystroke and they forget to add certain numbers. So first off, that's on them for not keeping up with the right prices. And if you like type in the chat like what that it's the wrong price, they'll update it for sure. But sometimes depending on what the sale is, if there's a big sale like holiday or anniversary of AliExpress, you can take advantage of that. And also the coupons that happen during those sales, and it's all a matter of just it's sort of like, I wouldn't say gaming the system, but I would say it's more like just knowing how to navigate it.
Mm.
Right. And that's something
true,
I'm just now learning, because I've only been on Ali probably less than a month.
Well,
so
but I also
I'm
support
just
my shops, like
learning.
all my shops that I normally go to. I support them no matter what. Like I did look at Ali today, but I wasn't impressed and I didn't see what I wanted. And all of a sudden I click on something, and you're right, they do need to update it. It's not really anybody's fault as far as I know, but I have no computers and it gets fishy sometimes. So, so I go to my people that I know are reputable. And even if I pay a little bit more, I know I'm going to get a good product, and I'll have some support if something goes wrong. So
definitely,
and to me, that's worth the extra couple of bucks.
Yeah, and I learned when it came to X-Tech hilts that sometimes they aren't as. Yeah, NN makes a good point. AliExpress will show low prices, but the shipping is insane. And
they'll charge $150 for shipping. It's crazy. I mean, I don't get it.
Right.
I mean, it's like with what I said with the tariffs, is that even if the price is low, the shipping will.
Make up for it. The shipping will make up for it.
But what's interesting is that there are lightsaber products that are on the store where the shipping is less, but it takes a lot longer to get to you. Personally, as long as I get the product, I have no problem with how long it will take, as long as
I agree with that.
And I'm able to get it from. And if it ultimately gets lost in the mail, that's going to be very frustrating. But at the same time, it's something that where I can contact AliExpress directly, not the store. Do not contact the store because they aren't going to get you your refund. You contact AliExpress and file a claim, and they will probably refund you.
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean,
that's what happened with the battery packs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But most of the sabers that I have gotten, for example, all my Obi-Wans, all of my Revan KOTOR hilt, my Ahsoka hilt, my X-Tech, all of them I got were empties, and I would just use, and I would also buy the chassis from them separate, because that way, save up money and whatnot. But recently I got into contact with someone on the lightsaber pages who's up in Canada who has direct contact with X-Tech. So I now order through him. So that way, not only the electronics are better, but just in case if there was a mishap with them, he double checks them. He makes sure they're okay. And if possible, even upgrade the speaker, because, KR Sabers speakers, Smuggler's Outpost speakers, those are creme de la creme. And I love my sabers to be loud.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Oh, yeah.
And thankfully,
they're the most requested, definitely.
And since I'm buying it through him, I don't have to worry about the tariffs, because I don't think China and Canada are tariffing each other right now.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? I mean, that's all.
Well, no, because
future,
Yeah, it may be, but who knows? I mean, everything's all screwy in that department.
Crewster. Yeah, the X-Tech Star Killer is definitely a great help. And what's interesting is that design is also used by HL Sabers, and it's weird, but it's just really good. I actually, speaking of the Star Killer hilt, I recently saw a new version by 89 Sabers,
Mm.
and it has a accent LED at the bottom.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
that could be done for sure. Yeah, that AZ I just finished, man, was nice. That AZ showcase one, that was really sweet. That's a nice hilt.
Hmm.
Hmm. Now, have you bought empty sabers from AliExpress, James? Rich
Me?
has,
No.
and Rich says, yeah, Rich has, and Rich says that he's gotten some pretty decent ones on there.
I've got
So
I've got
I might buy one.
yeah, I got KRs, I've got 89s, I don't have any alleys. I got my
Well, no,
Ahsokas.
but 89s.
There's tons of them.
Alice has 89s. So, but is it
Yeah,
better
but it's
for?
not. I order from 89. I order from KR 89 Sabers. I order directly from them.
Okay,
I
directly
don't
from them. Okay,
I do, yeah. I don't
I
know.
think
That's
it would
just my
work.
preference. You know, that doesn't
No,
mean
no,
that
I don't
somebody
blame
else
you.
is not going to get a good deal, but it's just my preference. I go for the source, like Barra said, you know. Same thing.
I think I would too. I mean, honestly, and
Yeah.
this is the reason why
Well,
I'm asking because
you get a good
I mean, it's
response
just a
because I've
dog thing.
dealt with them before, you know. I've talked to
Yeah,
them before. I've emailed or whatnot, on certain issues and measurements and things like that that I need to know as a builder and a installer. So
right.
there's they've got great return, uh, a great return
I,
rapport, I should say. They're good responding, so it's good.
yeah, and I'm really hoping Cal will kind of put out some more the Lost Acolyte because I've been Darth Reese, what's up?
Hey, what's
Uh,
up?
I've been really I've been really trying to get that Lost Acolyte, right? For years I've been trying to get it, and every time I've had the money for it, either my truck's broke down or I've had to
Oh
deal
yeah,
with
So just
you
bad luck.
know, with bills. Yeah, just bad luck. So it just wasn't time to get it. And this time, this year, I told my wife, I said, no ifs, ands, or buts. I want that hilt this year that I've been trying to get for 3 years. I said, she goes, all right, all right, all right. So I've given up a lot of money for
made
the
my
bills in
3D
order
printed
to.
one, so I'm happy.
Yeah, right.
This thing is awesome, man. I
Yes.
love this thing. You just click it in, and this is great, man. And this is just a 3D printed one that I built, but
Oh
the one that,
wow!
Yeah.
yeah, the one that's out there, yeah, this is really cool. It's all working. Everything works. Yeah, I
I
have chassis,
I'm
dual
probably
chassis in here too.
I'm probably going to get the TXQ version, the SE version,
Yeah,
because
the
look, don't
metal
get me
ones are
wrong.
great. So don't get me wrong. You're gonna
Oh
have a
yeah,
blast with it.
oh yeah. Look, don't get me wrong. I mean, the one that's by Shadow Foil and Nexus, they look amazing, but I it just seems like a hassle to reconnect the Shoto back into the hill and everything and whatnot. So
Oh yeah,
if you get what I'm saying,
yeah,
I prefer function. I like to balance my function and fashion.
sure,
Yeah.
totally agree. Yep.
But Cal's Lost Acolyte, man, the black and silver and oh my God, that's such a pretty
Yeah.
hilt too. And
Yeah.
um and then I think eventually I'm gonna get
It's
Cal's
a Ford. I love you. It's a Ford.
Cal's crossguard too, right?
Oh
Cal's
yeah,
got
Oh
the
an
yeah.
ones
awesome
that
crossguard.
TXQ and Nexus have come out with look amazing. The weathered one by
Really?
TXQ looks really good.
Hmm.
Not a fan of cross guards personally because of just how heavy they are. I mean, I never really used medieval swords growing up or done HEMA or anything like that. But they if it works, it works.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I have a couple of medieval swords that my father-in-law has given me, right? Especially one from Ireland that was well, it's a replica of the one from Ireland, and not exactly the one from Braveheart or anything, but close to that, right? almost kind of like the King Richard style. And
Yeah.
because I collect,
Mystic Night
you know,
Blades,
me,
man.
right? So me being a sword collector, I collect you know, knives, katanas, I collect, you know, medieval swords, I collect I've had some of the Ray, oh gosh, I forgot his last name. Um Ray something. He created a fantasy kind of like a this sword collection that he created, almost like the Conan type style, but you had all these like the Soul Flame or Flame Sword and Soul Sword and different kinds of swords. Remind me to send y'all some pics of those sometimes, man, because they're just
Yeah.
absolutely gorgeous. I keep them in rifle cases, because I don't want anything to happen to them. And Kit Ray, Rooster, you got it, dude. Kit Ray, that's what it is. So I got the posters, and I've got almost every one of those swords. And
Mm,
I tell you, I think I'm only missing two out of the whole set. And
nice.
I just love those swords, man. So I carry them in rifle cases so that they are protected, right? Every now and then I'll pull them out, I'll oil them out a little bit so that they don't have any rust or anything on them. And because eventually these
Yeah,
will go
that's
to my
badass.
girls, and if they want to sell them when I'm dead and gone, you know, so be it. But I may end up sending them to some of my friends if I'm on my deathbed.
It's
You
like,
know, so
here,
the
take
ones that
my
the
saber.
the the ones that I know that will appreciate them the most, you know, because my wife, she won't
Yeah.
hold on to them. She won't have anything to do with them. I know she won't. So, but for the ones that I know who appreciate it, have it on their wall, give it to their sons, and I tell you, those are the people that I'll probably be sending it out, sending it out to.
Yeah.
Hmm. Now, going back to the topic, let's get back on topic, guys.
Yes.
Um, you know, with modifications, and you know, you have people that utilize the pin system, right? They're not utilizing only the TCSS pins. They're not only utilizing CC Saber pins. They're utilizing different pin systems within the hilts,
Yep.
whether it be in the middle of the hilt, whether it be in the outside of the hilt, you know, in the midsection. Because let's face it, I mean, you want, um, you know, some of TSS's pin systems. You have the pin systems that don't have any LEDs, and then you have the pin systems that do have the LEDs. And I think most people now are wanting the LEDs within the emitter section, right? So that, you
It
know, they
depends.
can,
It
you know,
depends.
yeah, it depends on the hilt, right?
Yeah. Like the mom ones, like the last two moms that I didn't, I never added neopixels to those because the chassis comes out and you don't want the light shining in there, just doing nothing because it goes in between, it hits the plate, and that's all you do. You don't see it, so there's no reason to really have it
Right.
in there. So I go with a flat PCB for that, and just pins. That's it.
Hmm.
Simple, you know.
Yeah. So again, you know, you're modifying the
Mostly
saber a
emitter
little
though, you
bit.
know. It's mostly in the emitter
Yeah.
that we do them in.
And then you have, again, modifying, you know, different parts from different hills and different companies. Like I was saying earlier, that you have the TCSS parts that interacted with Ultra Sabers. But I think there was a little bit of a controversy like that because I think TCSS didn't really care for that for a while. That they're like, no, man, you copied our thread count, and that wasn't kind of cool. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have, uh, you know, you have like saber forged bodies, and then people kind of modified them to interact with different, you know, like ultra saber hilts, or they modified ultra saber hilts to go onto these TXQ hilts interchangeably, but they had to change things up whether it be modifying some of the threads to do it, or modifying some other parts to accommodate that kind of um,
Changeover, sure. Yeah.
put changeover. Yeah,
Yep.
and you're really collecting. Well, you're creating these new parts to ultimately come up with unique hilts, right?
Yeah.
And even
Yeah.
even modifying, you know, oh gosh, uh, whether it be parts for the outside of the saber or in the inside of the saber, whether they be brass parts, whether they be nylon parts, or whatever have you will, right? Whatever material that you're going to use within the saber itself to create that uniqueness that you're looking for. It's all very interesting to me because the uniqueness of each hilt, um, whether it be inside or outside, and utilizing different companies to achieve that is really spectacular because you are seeing people thinking outside the box and not just sticking with the same parts from the same company. You know, of course, right now I enjoy getting parts from TCSS, but eventually I'd like to go outside of TSS and create something different eventually, right?
Yeah.
And
Well, you have to go shopping.
where
Basically, you have to. You have to. The market is vast, so you have to see what fits together and what doesn't. And most of the forums will tell you what fits and what doesn't. As
Mhm.
far as that's concerned. Like Scott said here, $900 in a chassis and flashing LEDs, and there's no way you could see it until you take it out. There's no, like he said, no
Yeah,
battle stars, no anything. But they're starting to do that nowadays with the TXQ sabers and the Theory sabers and all these other sabers that are starting to it's just they're having the open crystal chambers with the moving motors now because everybody did it and now they want to do it too, so they did it. So there's a lot of, what I mean. It's
monkey
like
see,
it's like
monkey see, monkey do.
but they look good. I mean, they work good, and I've seen them up close, and they look great. Their functionality is fine, but it also depends on what you want to use them for. You can't forget that they don't. A lot of these sabers, depending on which one you get, you know, you can battle them or you can't battle with them. They'll let you know which hilts you can do it with. I wouldn't be
Right.
blasting a cement wall with a motor one, because the
Yeah,
pieces will just
exactly.
fall right the hell out. I mean, I've never experienced one falling out. I've never done it myself, but I'm sure it's not a good thing. Trauma to the internal parts is something to think about. It has to be all embedded, and staying there.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know, but yeah,
LED bladed sabers that
yep,
yeah, I do as a matter of fact because
yeah,
Space, he used a lot of Mikado parts for his sabers,
hmm,
right? If you go back, Krooster,
oh
if you
yeah,
go back to
string
a lot of
blades.
his old videos, yeah, if you go back to a lot of his old videos, he used a lot of Makoto foam and Makoto parts for
Hmm.
quite a few of his saber stuff, on top of creating a lot of different things for his unique sabers that he made. And and that's another reason that I wanted to utilize tonight's topic for, because if you watch Space Window's old videos, you get to see the uniqueness in the stuff that he created with a lot of the different hilts that he made. And you know and especially the one that he gave away and stuff, and it is just amazing to see the creation of these hills. Now you're seeing again, you're seeing Jeremy creating a lot of fantastic hilts, coming out, and along with Benji Nerf Herder as well, right? um and also, you know modifying your parts. uh Again, I want to go back and say that different things that you do. with going back to the laser etching and acid etching and wrapping, all of that different type of stuff to create unique hilts is, every bit of modification to the hilt. Then you also have, again, like we were talking about earlier, parts from different companies and modifying those to fit together, as well as whether they be LEDs, whether they be different chassis and 3D printed chassis, along with silver, brass, gold accents, the crystal within there. Even the crystal is a modification of a 3D printed chassis that makes the saber unique. Now, we all know that most lightsabers have to contain a crystal chamber, right? In order to function properly. Because without a crystal chamber, it's really not a lightsaber. I mean, it's a dead saber in itself. Because the crystal
Well, like
itself
I
is
said
what
many shows ago, I was always saying that I always try and get a crystal chamber, and if I can squeeze it in there, because people,
yeah.
it's something just nice, even if you don't see it half the time. When you take it out, at least you know that if it functions, I mean, you can use it as a function light or a battery light or just have it glowing, or there's so many things you could do with it. That's why I always try to get it in there, if I can. It's
Yeah.
been some of these have been tough, but especially the 1-inch ones with some of the Saber Forge stuff. I have to be honest, it's very hard to do that because of the way where the button sits. The button's not all the way up in front. I can't do anything. Half of them are right in the middle, and it's
Yeah.
causing me to make a shorter chassis, which I cannot include a chassis, a chamber or anything like that. And some
Hmm.
do. It depends on which models you get. You may have a little bit more room in the longer hilts, but the short ones I kept trying, and it's difficult. It's difficult.
Yeah. So each and you know the like you saying, the different hilts produce different challenges in terms of what you're going to put in there, and
Yeah,
the modifications are very necessary to create the functionality and the spirit that goes within the hilt, right?
yep. That's
um
what it's all about.
Also, and also again, the sound fonts brings justice to the modifications, because you don't have just one single sound font to that hilt.
Yeah,
Right.
you can do
Well, you have
multiple.
a choice. You've got a selection.
Like for
You got a
example,
selection.
for example, um, for my Count Dooku Darth Tyrannus hilt, I have for that one and my Jedi Dooku, I have a single config file for it that has every sound font from the Tales of the Jedi font all the way to Count Dooku's last font in Episode 3, and that includes Jedi, includes Obi-Wan, Mace Windu, Yoda, Clone Wars, the whole deal.
Sweet, sweet.
Yeah,
It's nice
Now
because then
you,
you
you
have a
know
canon hilt, and they're all Dooku, but all different phases. It's really great.
well, yeah, and also I like to do it where it's all the characters that Dooku has interacted with,
That's great. That's
and
cool.
I try and do it in chronological order. Now, if it's for example, for my Obi-Wan Kenobi ANH hilt, there's not that many, and I don't put the graphics one on there because it's basically the same. It's basically the same sound almost.
Mm-hmm.
And but I put Darth Vader, I put old Ben Kenobi from Rebels, I put Ezra's, I put Maul's from Rebels, and if
Nice.
I don't want to, if I want to keep some hilts, if I want to add some extra spots like K6 Coda or F1 Racer, I'll do that because
Sure.
yeah. But I also have all of K6's other fonts like Aggression, Horizon, all his custom made fonts. I have a full config separate from that.
Nice.
And it's the
Yeah,
same with
that's what the beauty about open source. You could do that. Keep the fonts on the SD card, and you're done. You don't have to
yeah.
even touch it ever again. That's it.
Yeah, and that
Yeah.
is something that I very much have enjoyed with when it comes to Profi.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That's the
there's
beauty
just
of that board. Yeah.
yeah, and there's also on Pastebin, all these guys have done their own blade styles, which is really nice too.
Yes. Yeah. Like the
See,
whole forum and stuff through the. Yeah.
now that is another great modification that we've seen because we're not getting just a standard blade where it's just a standstill blade, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that it's
You
Yeah.
called
You
don't.
got.
static. It's called static on
It's
that's
Yeah.
262.
you know it's lit up and it's solid. Then you have your choice of all these different wonderful blade styles that go with certain different uh, sound fonts. So your modifications right there are bringing that whole experience exponentially to the roof, in my opinion, right?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
one of my favorite ones that came out in the last year by Fet 263 was the Cortosis Clash, where it where
Yeah.
Fernando has done his best to imitate the Cortosis contact that we see when all those Jedi fight Chimere, and it's just like I'm once I look forward to demonstrating that once I finally get an Acolyte series hilt, because if it's on another hilt, it just looks weird, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Bruce, yeah, the Kenobi fonts from by Kyberphonic and the version that are by K-Sith are very good. Buying the bundle definitely helps. My favorite bundle is also his Knights of the Old Republic
Oh yeah.
bundle, which I wish he would update and add more of, because I can think of a couple others that a couple more characters like the three masters from KOTOR and Atris.
Mm-hmm.
But I really hope Jesse isn't watching this and be like, "Hey, don't pressure me" or anything like that. But
No, I tell you, if anything, it's insightful, and it could be, it could be the next project in line. Who knows? You never know.
well,
If if
speaking
if
Have
of,
the
you
crowd
seen the
wants it,
ones?
they'll do it.
have I what Mundo?
Have you seen the ones from Jada Lorian, like the Excalibur and?
Oh
Jade
yeah,
DeLorean is definitely one of those
Oh my
comics
God!
side of it. Yeah,
Now what I've seen is like with some uh it's fantastic, right? The sound fonts, but the blade
he spends a
styles
lot of
I
time
think
on
can
them.
kind of
oh
go
yeah,
with James's. Yeah, but some of the blade styles that he has can go with some of James's sound fonts too, man. I was like, oh my God,
I
I'm
mean,
thinking crazy,
true,
right?
yeah. And one thing I hope is that, I mean, the 3.9 Profi has a lot of memory, but there's
Oh
only
yeah,
so much it can have with. And I'm hoping that as Profi boards continue to evolve, that the Arkan font, Cruiser. So the Arkan font, that one actually isn't available, but Kyberphonic and Ksith collaborated on the Arkan Thexan font, as well as the as well as Valen's font. So if you go over to Ksith's website, that's where you can get it from. It's not a bit.
there you go.
It shows it on there, but it's not available for purchase on Kyberphonic's shop. But
And to get the Green Goblin font, and to get the Green Goblin font, man, you got to go to Mountain Sabers, dude.
says he got an Anakin Vader font and that works with the Clister refunding. Yes, it does work. It actually Juan Sith made a font using the blade rotation where you can switch from blue to red. He also made his own version of OSHA's Kyber Bleed, which Fed 263 also made with the Kyber Bleed based off the Acolyte. And once I get my Anakin Skywalker to it, I will definitely be applying that to my fonts.
That's cool. Yeah, I just do custom stuff, man. I love custom. Like everybody calls me and they'll email me and they said, I want to do it for this saber. I'm gonna send you pictures, photos. This is what I want. So that's where my or just once in a while I'll put out a new one that I like, because I don't everybody's got the market out there now. They've got all the standard Canon Sabers sounds and all that, and I don't want to do that, and neither does Jay. So that's why he's been
speaking of
doing his own thing.
Yeah, speaking of sound fonts, this last week we got our first trailer for Tales of the Underworld. Now, when Bad Batch Season 3 came out, Juan Sith did a font for Ventress's lightsaber. Now, with this, we're seeing a lot more of Ventress using her lightsaber, not just that one snippet little scene from Bad Batch. So I'm kind of hoping that K-Sith and Kyber Fox will be doing a bundle for maybe not, I wouldn't say a bundle, more like it would be a mini bundle since it's Ventress, the kid she's with, and that Inquisitor. So
I'd eventually like to acquire Ventress's curved hilt and then her recent their afterward hilts.
Well, interestingly enough, I just saw something from Dark Wolf. Apparently, LGT is finally taking the leap and making a curved Ventress hilt.
Really?
Now, when I saw that, I'm just like, wait, they finally are going to make the plunge, and it takes them this long? X-Tech did it, Watto's Workshop did it, and I'm just like, come on, guys. You're late to the game, man. But
I guess everybody has their own time limits, and what they could do through production. So it's not,
that's true.
It's not always easy to just go, hey, let's do that. Okay, boom. A week later, you got a thing. It's a lot more difficult than that. But I agree, it takes a little longer than others. But everybody has their own zone, and once that stuff comes out, you notice that nobody really cares how long it took to come out. They get it anyway.
Oh no, but I just like I like to gaff at it because it's just somebody's got to laugh at it,
Yeah, it's it happens, I mean, everybody's, but that I guess some people can get it, some people can't get it, some people make it, some people don't make it. It's a vast variety of the world, it's like that's what we enjoy the most about it.
Yeah.
Diversity,
Yeah.
That is golden. Diversity is golden, dude.
Diversity, baby. That's it, man. Yeah, I don't care how long it takes. Like you said, Barris, I don't care how long it takes to get a hilt. As long as I get it and it's in one piece and I turn it on and I'm happy, and it lights up. Who cares? It's I think the patience part of it, I want to make. I always try and stay on the patience part because you're going to get something. You can work things out if things go south. I mean, there's really no reason to have to rush a process and then make somebody else, I guess, I don't know, maybe uncomfortable or beat a deadline or something that they're really not prepared for. So it's really tough. And I understand a lot of these builders and makers, they're trying their damnedest to get them out there, like Jawa's Junkyard, all those guys, they're working 24/7. I bet you they don't even sleep, so it's like,
right.
Yeah. I just love the fact that they're still doing it and they're building stuff and they're taking designs and it's great.
Exactly.
One of the sabers that I have on my wish list is a DV3, a Darth Vader episode 3, and one I'm actually looking at is the ones by Arms on Fire, by them. You know who I'm talking about?
I haven't seen them yet, but I will look.
Give me a second. I know what. Give me a second. I know what they're called. I just haven't. Where is? Okay. It's called. Yeah, Arm on Fire, Randy Smith.
Arm on Fire.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, he recently made a commission of a lightsaber inspired by Tulak Horde. Here, take a
Oh
look at it.
yeah,
Yeah, seriously, this hilt is freaking massive.
nice
Cool.
shop. Got a
Oh,
good
yeah.
shop. Yeah, he's into it, man. He's a master craftsman. I could tell you that because that's some good stuff in there. So, you know,
Yeah.
that's
Well, it looks
worth
like
taking
we're
a look
gonna
at. You know.
definitely. I think we're gonna have a part two of this conversation, guys, because this was
All
like
right.
so much fun. This is so much
Oh,
fun tonight.
absolutely, man.
I think we're
Yeah,
gonna
this is
have to
great.
have a part two.
Fantastic.
So, what do you guys in the chat think? Should we have a part two of this conversation? I think we should. I mean, it's an interesting concept to know that you're gonna have, certain
To mix
hills
and
come out
match.
and new companies coming out too, right? You're gonna have different
Hmm.
companies coming out, mix and match and so forth, and even creating new parts for these different companies. And
Mhm.
yeah, right. Fire Sabers,
Hmm.
Dark Wolf, all
Yep.
these different
Ghost Force,
companies.
yeah, yeah.
So, all of these different companies that offer these different parts, and you're going to utilize each different of these parts. Man, we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's a
think
vast society, man. And these guys are, they're at the top of their game over there. They're really doing pretty good. They're great guys, great people, and they love it, and they're doing well. So I think the versatility to top it all off is versatility and the want, and those two
yeah,
items, I think we can definitely continue on another show. But I'll tell you, the
for
want
sure.
and the needs are making this all happen, guys. So it's because of the fans. It's because of the people who want sabers. That's how all these
That's a
things are
good
becoming. Like,
topic.
yeah, the needs and the
That's a good
wants, man.
topic, right?
Someone should
So
Well,
just
let's
I
do
know that I
that.
get it as an
this guy
installer.
make
As an
this.
installer, I always get it. The needs and the wants. What do you want? You tell me. I'm going in as a clean slate. I don't know what you want, so you have to talk to me and say, "Give me your imagination," and boom. And guess what? It happens. So
Okay.
yeah. So
Actually,
So
it's
there you
amazing.
hear it, guys. There
James, I
you
do
hear
have
it.
a question. Would you be? You know how there is the V1 version of the Darth Maul hilts that Nexus made, the ones with the slide out cores.
I'd have to look at them again. It's been a while, but I'm probably on the right track of where you're going.
Would you be able to machine a custom quick disconnect coupler?
Depends on how many pins and what it entails.
Basically it would be similar to what the one that Ultra Sabers makes, but
For like the blades,
well, to disconnect the hilts.
disconnect the hilt. Oh, to disconnect the hilts. That might be something I might be interested in maybe trying to design, and I may be able to process something like that. But instead of the twist couplers and stuff, you just want to boom. Well,
Yeah,
I wish there was a connector inside the magnetic cores, like Saberflux should really corner that market and get the connectors in the magnet.
I mean, LGT has their own little version, but the ones that they have were based off the ones were like the first ones they designed were based off the Master Replicas Force FX ones that they made. Okay. But they're not. It's not as. But the threading is bigger than with the ones that are available now. So that's why
he says Nexus has quick connects, but we were talking about actually disconnecting power or
no. A quick connect coupler that is thread sized for that saber.
Yeah. I would need the information in order to do that. You can hit me up though. Definitely email me on the information, and I can see what I can come up with.
Yeah, I'll message you sometime about it.
Sure.
I'll even send you and let you do the thread measuring and everything.
Yeah, because it's not too hard to do the threading. I mean, I have all the right stuff to do it, so it's just have to match it. That's all.
Yeah.
So our next topic is going to be needs and wants.
Needs and wants. I think that's one of the most important topics, man. Because we all have needs and wants, and that stuff's got to get out there. Like you said, put it on. You can't put it on pen and paper. You need somebody to do that, or want somebody
Yeah,
to do that because you can't. So there's a whole
exactly.
bunch of things. The terminology of needs and wants, there's a lot of different branches with that. So,
Exactly. So it's a good topic for next Sunday, man.
yeah, I'm on.
Absolutely.
I'll be there.
So make sure that and again, guys, for those of you who are in the chat, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Yes, thanks, guys.
I
Appreciate it.
so much, we all appreciate it very much, and I love the fact that you can come on a Sunday night and hang out with us and listen to us talk about stuff that we love. Saber wise, saber enthusiasts of every age. Doesn't matter, right?
Oh yeah.
Come sit down, have a beer, have a drink, whatever you want to drink. It doesn't matter. Come and talk with us about stuff that you want to talk about that maybe you can't talk about with anybody else. Come and talk to us about it. We'd love to have you on the chat. Love to have you on the show if you want to come on the show. Let me know. I'd be happy to have you on the show. And it doesn't matter whether you're a pro, whether you're intermediate, or whether you're just a beginner. To me, it makes no difference. It's all good. We're all here to talk about sabers and the hobby that we love. We're all here to talk about Star Wars, right? The Star Wars universe that we love. Um,
And
it's fun to us. It's fun to everybody that is into this stuff. So come and hang out with us. Come and talk with us. Again, you guys make the show what it is. I am here as your host. My co-pilots over here, they make the show what it is as well. I have to thank Space Windu Anthony Lagapa for allowing me to run the show the way that I run the show. Um, and he would come on if he could come on when he has a chance. He will come on. Right now he's super busy with making blades and tri-stars and omega stars and and quad stars and tri-stars and
So
everything else
many
under the
bright
table, man.
blades. The light
So
burns.
so make sure you force push that like button and subscribe if you wish, man. I know Anthony appreciate it. I appreciate it. Anything that you see here on Civilized Sabers, you'll also see on the Mundo channel in Instagram, right? You can hit me up on Facebook at Mundo Cabrera the Third on Instagram or Facebook. You can email me at e_Cabrera CABRERAIII at yahoo.com. You know, chat with me. I'd be happy to talk with you and all kinds of stuff. Again, if you want to come on the show, let me know. Happy to have you on. Again, it doesn't matter whether you're a beginner, whether you're intermediate or pro, it doesn't matter. Come on the show. Let's
yep.
talk. This is for everybody of all facets within the hobby. Okay. Peace and love, my friends. I'm going to kind of get
See you
my.
later.
Yeah, I'm going
Catch
to.
me on Facebook if you guys need anything. So I'll talk to you soon, man.
Yeah, check out Mountain Sabers if you haven't checked him out. Highly recommend his fonts if you haven't bought any of his fonts. Get them.
Thank you.
I'm telling you, you won't be sorry. I've got quite
I'm
a
on
few of them. I
Instagram.
look forward to
Guys, want
more.
I'm on
Darth
Instagram. If you
Bears.
guys got I collect lightsabers. I show them off. I'm a member of the Saber Legion, and I'm just getting into practicing with them. So I'm hoping to do some competitions sometime. I gotta buy protective gear for it. But yeah, just find me at the Southern Skywalker.
Cool, man.
Like and subscribe, guys. Like and subscribe.
Peace.
Leave peace
Bye.
and love, my friends. Later.
See ya.
Yeah.